When the fullness of time had come, God sent forth his Son, born of a woman, born under the law, to redeem those who were under the law, so that we might receive adoption as sons. It is Wednesday, the 14th day of December, 2022. Clive Walsh here, inviting you to join me as we read our devotional thought for today, and it is entitled, The Qualified Savior. And the verses today, Galatians chapter 4, verses 4 and 5, which reads, When the fullness of time had come, God sent forth his Son, born of a woman, born under the law, to redeem those who were under the law, so that we might receive adoption as sons. That's Galatians chapter 4, verses 4 and 5. Alistair Begg writes, One of the best ways to get a sample of a culture's belief is to talk to school children. Once, for instance, we asked who Jesus was. A child who was growing up in the UK replied, He was the one who took from the rich and gave to the poor. It seemed to be mixing up Jesus and his disciples with Robin Hood and his merry men. When asked, What is a Christian? Another child responded, Aren't they the people who grow their own vegetables? At this time of the year, many who do not spend time thinking about God much for the other 11 months find themselves reflecting on the reason for Jesus' birth. Countless friends, colleagues, and relatives would likely say that Jesus is, at best, something of a mystery. These responses are a sobering reminder that Christianity's message is not as obvious to our neighbors as we may think. Who Jesus is must first be cleared in our minds and dear to our hearts if we are going to articulate that to others. Jesus stands out among all figures of religious history and humanity since he alone possessed the qualifications to be the Savior of our world. His coming isn't regarded by the Apostle Paul as an accidental intervention. It was a divine appointment. When Paul says God sent forth his Son, he implies that he was sent out from a previous state of existence. Jesus' life didn't begin when he was born of a woman as a child in Bethlehem. He was before time itself begun. John chapter 1, verses 1, 2, and 3. Without ceasing to be what he was, namely God, he became what he was not, namely a man, born under the law, owning the Father's full and perfect obedience, which he alone is the great mass of humanity through the ages achieved. If God would save, then the Savior must be God. If man must bear the punishment because man sinned, then the Savior must be a man. If the man who bears the punishment of sin must himself be sinless, then who other than Jesus Christ meets these qualifications? Jesus was uniquely qualified to accomplish God's plan of salvation. There was no other good enough to pay the price of sin. He alone could unlock the gate of heaven and let us in. Who is Jesus? He is God the Son, born of a man. He is the perfect lawkeeper who died to free those who had not kept the law. What is a Christian then? It is someone who has been freed from the penalty of sin, adopted into the family of God. That is a message we should preach to ourselves daily and should pray for an opportunity to share with someone else daily, for it is the most surprising and most glorious message in all of history. And what a glorious message it is indeed. We have a qualified Savior, Jesus Christ, the Son of God. May you make room for him in your hearts this very day and especially this coming Christmas season. Clive Walsh here, asking God's richest blessings upon you. And for those of you reading through the scriptures in a year, Joshua chapter 10, 11, and 12, and the Gospel of Luke chapter 16. God bless.